as we hear a voiceover reciting passages from Deuteronomy 28, Numbers 12:6, and Jeremiah 33 verse 10. Episode 7 begins with messengers journeying throughout the land of Israel to spread the news of David and Mychal's marriage. Adriel joyfully informs Jordan that the marriage marks the beginning of a new era in Israel. Back in Gibeah, yelling and alarms awoke Eshbaal from his delusions of being tortured by his pagan captors. The king's silos are being set on fire by the cloaked men that kidnapped him, killed Dinah's father, and attempted to kill Jonathan. Following the incident, we find out that the silos were just stocked with grain for the winter. Their demolition could result in starvation in Gibeah. Eshbaal makes a different suggestion, but Saul doesn't want to beg the tribes for additional food. Claiming to have made friends with the king of Edom's advisor in his careless youth, he proposes that they attempt to mend their shaky partnership. Knowing that the king of Edom is a spiteful, resentful man with whom he hasn't spoken in decades, Saul hesitates before allowing Eshbaal to get in touch with his friend. In search of his father, Eshbaal enters Saul's chamber shortly before the wedding and gives Kazi a quick but sensual glimpse, a reference to their flirtation in Season 1, Episode 1. When Saul shows there, Eshbaal tells him that the king of Edom is prepared to put aside previous grudges and seek an alliance by giving them grain. David maintains that God alone cleared his path when Adriel approaches him after the wedding to remind him of his role in doing so. David refuses to admit that he owes Adriel anything, reminding Adriel of what Eliab had to do and what would happen if Saul discovered Adriel had lied. Offended, Adriel approaches Eshbaal and points out that another barrier preventing him from ascending to the throne is the union of David and Mychal. Eshbaal initially seems to be uninterested, but Adriel can see that he is motivated by ambition and maintains that all he needs is someone to remove the barriers standing in his way of the throne. Adriel pulls him aside and tells him who David really is. Later that evening, Dinah approaches Eshbaal and informs him about the meeting she saw between Dog and the one-eyed man, as well as the message she intercepted that demonstrates the Philistines were not responsible for the attack on the silos. Eshbaal begs her to let him handle the situation. Just before he throws her off the wall and kills her, he sadly tells her that he never expected to fall in love with her like this, as it becomes apparent that she won't just let it go. However, Eshbaal was mistaken to believe that the two were alone. When he spots Mirab, Eshbaal dashes over and silences her, claiming to have an explanation. Eshbaal eventually tells Mirab what transpired during his captivity after escorting her back to his chambers. His previous life came to an end, and he is dedicated to pursuing his new goal. Eshbaal doesn't refute Mirab's accusations that he was responsible for the attack on the silos, the breakup of their family, and their mother's exile. Instead, he maintains that his actions were required to bring a stop to their father's corrupt and decaying kingdom and establish something better. He begs her to stay by his side and not tell anybody what occurred, taking advantage of their previous relationship. Jonathan wonders why someone would kill Dinah, while Eshbaal pretends to be shocked and grieving when a guard discovers her body. On schedule, Mirab appears and asserts that Dinah had been quietly grieving over her father's passing and had discussed suicide with her while keeping it a secret from everyone else. Eshbaal successfully conceals the crime by seeming to be shocked and grieving once more.